Mike show here. All right. That song always kind of gets to me, so it got to me again. All right, I want to thank everybody for coming. I guess a long time ago, my little pain in the butt, Lisa, cousin, asked me to do this, and I really had no hesitation. I knew I was going to do it. But then I woke up morning and a couple days later, and I thought, who else better to help me but Mike? And I called him up, and he instantly said yes. He didn't even hesitate. And so we decided to do it together, which I'm very helpful or very happy for. It's been fun, a life with Mike, of course, and we've had 70 years of coaching. They said 50, but actually it's 70 years of combined coaching between the two of us. As coaches standing here today, you know, we're not going to give you all the right answers. We weren't perfect coaches. We weren't perfect people by no means, but we did have a few years, and we saw a lot of things come and go, and that damn song's still in my house. We saw a lot of things come and go, and saw a lot of situations that we tried to handle, and in the Christ-like way, coaching with Christ. So hopefully we can touch your soul, or talk to maybe some young parents out here on maybe that have young kids coming up, maybe what to expect, or what some of our ideas on how to handle your children or your young players or your young grandchildren. Your turn, Mike.
First of all, thank you for inviting me to share my faith. I think it's awesome that in this day and age especially that we get together and share our faith. I really do. And Lisa, thanks for having me. It's been awesome to come in here and reacquaint.
Can you guys hear us back there?
Use the mic. I hate these things.
I don't know if it's on.
I think you got it.
Yeah, there's a green light, Mike.
There you go.
That means go.
Green light. Can you hear me better now? I'll just talk louder. I got a coach's voice down here somewhere. There we go. Try it now. Is that better? Yeah. Oh boy, I gotta hold this thing. All right, but thanks for having me. It's been so nice reacquainting with so many people that I haven't seen for a long time. Lamar's, I was born and raised in Lamar's, and I will always consider Lamar's to be my hometown. Awesome people, a fantastic place to grow up, a fantastic place to raise your family, and your Catholic faith is still a priority. And we're just going to try to offer some things tonight that might help in some way to strengthen that faith, hopefully. I don't attest to have all the answers. I don't have wings on my back, but been through a few things in life and come to realize that all this coaching that I've done, you know, we set goals. We try to get the best out of our athletes, try to make them the best people that we possibly can. But our ultimate goal, like the video showed, that's our ultimate goal. There's a better life ahead. And we strive to meet that, strive to be good people. And I just wanted to share those thoughts with you. I guess through my coaching and my teaching, I should probably tell you a little bit about that. But I went to Briarcliff College after I graduated for 4 years, And then after that, I taught at Granville Spalding for 3 years. And after that, I went to Elkhorn Public School in Elkhorn, Nebraska on the west edge of Omaha, and I taught there for 30 years as a science teacher, high school science teacher. I never dreamt when I was in high school science class that I would ever be a high school science teacher. And Mrs. Bonenkamp can probably support that. But everything just kind of fell together and fell into my lap essentially, and I attribute a lot of that to the work of God, the work of Jesus Christ in my life, and came to realize that it all kind of fits together. And the Catholic education that I got, the experiences that I had with my family and my teachers and friends, kind of formed the foundation for my coaching and my teaching. So that as I developed my philosophy, what I thought was right, what I thought was wrong, I tried to pass that on to the players and to the students that I coached. And it's been a pretty rewarding life for me. I've enjoyed every moment of being a teacher and a coach. Ups and downs for sure, just like any other occupation, but it's been awesome. So I'd like to share more specifics with you here, Mike. It's your turn.
All right. All right, just a little bit, in case you don't know me. I had a dad that was very calm, religious, and honest. I think as a coach you need a little bit of everything, and he gave me my calmness, and he gave me the religion that we all need. My mom was more of a fire plug. She gave me the competition or to compete. It wasn't good. Dad didn't really worry about it too much, but Mom did. So she was the competitor of the family. She loved to play bridge and golf, and if you know those two games, they're very competitive games. So that was where I got my competitiveness. Have 7 sisters, 6 that are alive today. Pat's here today, and I was the only boy. They called me the golden child, which I don't know if I agreed with that. I think I did all the work, but no, with 6 sisters and myself, you can see why my dad had a lot of patience, because it took patience, but it was different back then. It really was. And in the 70s and late 60s, things it just was easier probably than it is today. If Todd and Lisa probably can attest to that, with 5 daughters. Okay, so graduated in 1978, of course. Mike and I and Kelly, of course, I was going to throw that in there that we double dated. We actually double dated, and I wasn't dating Kelly. I was in the back seat, and Mike and Kelly were up front. So, and
he wasn't by himself.
Yeah. I dated the late Sue Mackey, who passed away about a year ago. So, couple coaches that I really looked up to is Tom Scram and Denny Muller. I thought they had their shit together. They did it right. And probably without Jeannie Bonenkamp, I wouldn't have played basketball at all through my high school years, because she got me through English. Many nights we stayed after school, didn't we, Jeannie? She still shakes her head. Kelly and I had 4 children, 9 grandchildren that attend Galen Catholic, 2 that are Adel Tigers, and we're both very active at Galen, and we do a lot of things, and we're pretty proud of our family. Mike?
Yeah, as you should be. I said when I walked in and looked around, I said if if we take the Langels and Sitzmans and all the connections with them out of here, there's probably about 20 people left. My side a little bit more. Many of you probably remember my parents, Dick and Lucille O'Kane. My mom taught at Galen for probably close to 25 years. Dad was at Wells Blue Bunny, 1968, drove a truck for them for a lot of years. They taught me an awful lot about my Catholic faith. There was no question during Lent. Stations of the Cross on Friday night, and before you went out, you went to the Stations of the Cross. No questions asked. If you argued, you didn't go out. So many times, my friends were sitting out in the car waiting for me to get out of Stations of the Cross.
Double date.
But they set a really good example, as many of you parents here have done as well. Lamar's is a unique community that you should be very proud of. It's not like this everywhere. I was one of 6 children of my parents. Father Pat, a brother of mine, just passed away a couple of years ago. My brother Tim bowed out early. And I've got 3 sisters that are still alive. We're pretty close, as many families are, and we support each other, as many of you support your families as well. It's much appreciated, as we both have families here tonight, and we thank you for being here to support us. Cindy and I, Cindy Sitzman O'Kane, Jim and Joanne's daughter, we've been married for 41 years. We've got 4 children now that are adults. All are married, and they have blessed us. God has blessed us actually with 11 grandchildren. We just had a new addition this morning at 5:30. A little boy out in Denver, Colorado. We're excited about that. But I think that's...
To add to that a little bit, to show how faithful and true Mike is, he got on a plane to be back here tonight because he was in Denver to watch the birth of his grandchild. Flew to Las Vegas and then flew to Omaha and drove up to my place to be here tonight. So let's give him a hand. Never could imagine that I would be a coach. I've said this before, I was born to be a farmer. It's what I was. I farmed my whole life, but never imagined that I would be a coach. It kind of shows a little bit, sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone. I've preached that to kids I've coached years and years, that when they don't want to quite do that because it's not comfortable for them, I say you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to be able to do that. You got to step up and do it for the team. And I guess as a coach, I never imagined I'd be the head basketball coach at Galen Catholic after Tom Scram or Luke Sauer or Rick Fox. Okay, so it was pretty cool. I was scared to death. Had a lot of help from assistants, and Kelly's Bar once in a while. We had some late night discussions on them deals and figured stuff out, and just did it. So get out of your comfort zone. Really, you might not think you can do it, but you can do it. Just get out of it, go do it, and it's rewarding at the end.
I remember in high school, I had a track coach, Denny Muller. Many of you remember Denny. He was a tremendous track coach. And every year he would set goals for us. And he put the goals up on a board in the cafeteria so that everybody got and everybody would see them every day. And the goals were like, I looked at my goal and I'm like, are you kidding me? You think I can run a half mile in 2 minutes and 4 seconds? There's no way. Well, you know what? He pushed me and put that thought in my head, and by the end of my senior year, I ran 2 flat. I could never ever do that again. A goal. He set a goal. He pushed me out of my comfort zone. He made me look at the possibility of doing it, and if you work your butt off at something, push yourself out of your comfort zone, you can be successful. So don't be afraid to do that.
You're going way shorter. All right.
I want to watch Creighton.
Oh, by the way, we were going to say that. Craig McDermott knows more about coaching than the both of us. We could just quit now and go watch the Creighton game. Coaching lessons, Mike and I are going to kind of hit on this together. First of all, I'd like to credit parents for bringing their children up in the right, respectful way. As a head coach, when you've been around a long time, you can watch the first day of practice and watch your boys play. Mike coached some girls, but watch your boys play, your young men play, and know how they were brought up at home. You really can. Just how respectful they are, how hardworking they are. If they're willing to step up and do something without being asked, you can just tell. So bring your children up, give them jobs, make them be respectful. It's all right. It's all right to do that. It really is. Mike, do you have something with that, or?
No, I disagree with that totally.
I mentioned the respect. As a coach, one of the things people always ask me is how many parents called you, and I never had a one. I don't think you did either.
There's never many.
But in order to do that, you can't lie to them. Kids are pretty dang smart. Okay, you got to treat them with respect. You got to demand respect back, and as long as you do that, they know that you are telling them the truth, and they know that the parents know that I'm not saying this to one kid and going over this other kid and saying it. They know that you're up front, and so they believe in you.
Yeah, and through the years I found that, it's respect is something you got to earn. And you earn it by setting example, you earn it by being consistent, you earn it by not playing favorites, you earn it by making decisions based on what's best for the team. And if you do that, things work out. Things work out. And parents understand. Because if parents ask their athlete, for example, why aren't you playing? How come you're not getting playing time? What's the deal? And if the athlete says, well, I don't know, then it should be, well, then you need to go talk to your coach. Or it should be the athlete says, well, you know what? Johnny's better than me. Susie's better than me. And we're a team. And we're going to support each other. We win and lose together. And I always found that if I make decisions based on what's best for the team, and the team knows it, there's no problem. Because parents know it too. And we're all in this thing together. I used to tell them, we are a team. Parents, athletes, coaches, we're a team. It's not me against you. It's us. Okay? And I think that in life, depending upon what your occupation might be, I have a banker friend that told me, he's from a small town in Nebraska, a very good friend of mine. He said, when I hire people at my bank, I've had very good success hiring those that have played on teams, particularly in smaller schools, that understand the concept of teamwork. They're loyal, and you can count on them, and they're hardworking. And he said, I've had very good luck. And I think a lot of those people exist in Lamar's Island. So, I don't know, respect is extremely important, but in this day and age, it's something that we gotta work hard to teach. We really do.
Discipline. Obviously, discipline's a big part of a coach and his team. To me, it's a little easier as a coach to have discipline over a teacher, say, or a parent or whatever. If your team does something wrong, guess what? Get on the line. You're going to run it out of them. And it's a little easier, but you need to do that. Kids nowadays want discipline. They really do. They want discipline. They crave it. When you give them discipline, they love it. You mean I can't do that, Coach? No, that's not an option. Okay. And they know it. Now, if you hem all around, oh, maybe if you do it this way or do it that way, we'll let you go. They want discipline. Just be firm, be stern, and give them discipline. One example I want to give, I was always kind of proud of this moment. I was being a complete butthead coach, but I watched a young lady walk up to a door, and 4 of my basketball players walked out that door before her and never held the door for her. I was instantly pissed. And the next day, we had 4 double killers because of that. And they go, why? You treat young ladies with respect. You treat people with respect. And it's just simple things, but once again, it was easy for me because I had a whistle. But they didn't mind it. They knew they did wrong, and they didn't mind it. And I watched them the rest of the year, and they didn't make that mistake.
But I found in coaching that if you don't have discipline, you don't win tight games. You have to do the little things right, or they beat you in the end. So the expectations of being firm on discipline pay dividends in the end if you can get them to buy in. I think, it's the same thing with parenting, It's not easy to get on a child. Sometimes it's very difficult to say no when you know that that's the best answer and they think you're the worst parent in the world. But down the road, it's the right decision. And we as parents, we as grandparents, need to make those decisions for kids because you know what? The education process goes a lot further than the school. It goes into the home. It goes into the home, and we're educating youth all the time. What do we want them to turn out to be? If we want them to turn out to be good people, good citizens, faith-going Catholics to church, we've got to teach them that. And sometimes it's not easy, especially in this day and age. With all the social media and all the other interference that we have, we got to, I give an example. It's, probably shouldn't do this, but one of my children, let's say that, I won't point them out, but, okay, let's reason. Let's reason, Now, it's not right that you're making that decision. If you think about this, is this the best person you want to be? Kid's 3 years old. What the hell? I mean, maybe they need a swat on the butt and get to your room and think about what you did. But I guess I'm old school. And you know what? I used to halfway kind of take that as an insult, but now I take it as a compliment. Thank you very much.
Wins and losses we have written down, and I'm going to point on a kind of a touchy subject, we both are, is AAU. It's good and bad. It's good and bad. Helps players develop to become better players, okay? Gives them a lot of playing time. All right, that's good things. The things I see a little bit wrong with it is they play Sunday all the time. Sunday, when we were young, was Mass Day, Family Day, get on the four-wheeler, go do something with your friends and neighbors and whatever. It takes away from that. I don't know how important that is in the long haul, but Sundays are pretty important, especially when it's time to go to school, maybe go to mass with your family. In my mind, sometimes AAU can burn out young athletes, make them more injury prone. We're seeing that more and more as some of our young athletes become high school players, that they're more injury prone because they've had so many reps, no time off. They're playing volleyball, they're playing basketball, they're playing softball, they're playing whatever. There's got to be another guy sport out there. They don't really play football, but they must be picking on the girls a little bit. But so many, they get to the point where, and I've seen it as a coach, it's just another game. It's Friday night, Galen Gym playing the Hawks from Remsen St. Mary's. I shouldn't make them point them out because we always got up for them guys, but it's just another game. It's just another game. They play so many dang games that it's just another game. Well, this is what you played all those dang games for, is to play on this Friday night, to play against Remsen St. Mary's and to beat them. And do whatever you can to beat them. You can't just go out there and say, oh, we got beat again. I think when we were younger and came up, we didn't do all that stuff, so when we got to high school and got time to play on our basketball teams and football teams and track, we cherished those moments. We cherished them to the end because we knew there was only so many games. So that's a little bit of a negative point to my mind. They get just too much. And then I think some of it, a little bit I've watched, it's all about winning. It's all about winning, no matter what the cost. It's all about winning. Little Johnny don't get in the game because it's all about winning. We got to win this game. It isn't all about winning. It's about winning and losing, learning how to lose. You got to learn how to lose. Life isn't all about winning. I don't know anybody sitting in here that have won everything they've done this year or in their lifetime. It's about losing also. So you got to learn how to lose. In my mind, if you want my answer to that, this is my answer. Stay together as a team, as a school team, a Galen team, in your class. Stay together, go to some tournaments together, have some practices together as a team, as a class, and go learn how to be teammates together. And not worry about going to Kansas City and everywhere else, because now you get those players, and they're not all this way, don't get me wrong, but it's harder to blend them into the rest of the kids that have played as a team. But play as a team, I don't want to bring Remsen again, but Doug's here, so I will. Remsen, that's what they did. They played as teams all through their grade school years and stuff. And granted, they had talent, but look what they've done in the last 4 or 5 years, or 6, I think, whatever. But they've... I'll have you know, my record is just as good as Scott's against Remsen.
We can have her escorted out if you want.
Yeah. But that's what they did. They stayed together as teams. They learned to play together as teams, as classmates. They came up to the high school ranks and played together. They were used to playing to each other. And I think, if you want my opinion, that's the best way to have your young kids play ball. That's maybe, I should get off the pedestal here. Oh, one more thing, unless you're going to say it. 4-sport athletes, if you can do it. 3-sport, 4-sport. Just don't go out for basketball, or try to get 2 or 3, even a couple sports. You need more people to listen to than just one coach. You need different opinions, different things. So, okay, I'm done.
I had a little bit of a different experience at a bigger school. I was a girls' basketball coach, varsity basketball coach for 12 years down at Elkhorn. My biggest frustration, until I just kind of mellowed out on it, because there was nothing I could do about it, but I had basketball players that, on the night before a big game, I find out they're playing club soccer down in Omaha somewhere against some team at 12 o'clock at night. I'm like, are you serious? And then I had a really good basketball player, several good basketball players, but they played volleyball as well. And I'm not digging on volleyball, but club volleyball is huge down there. And volleyball is very big in Nebraska right now, maybe bigger than football. But,
Yeah.
yeah, but anyway, they would, they would go to their club stuff ahead of this. They paid tremendous amounts of money, thousands of dollars to play on these teams. And so even if I would offer free lessons every day at the gym for them to become better basketball players, they'd always go to the club sport because that's where they had invested their money. It's kind of messed up. But had several of them that decided to specialize in particularly volleyball, because it is a pretty specialized sport. But in more than one instance, injuries from the constant repetitive movements, stress fractures, and then the biggest one, burnout. I'm a senior. I've been through all this. I've lost my desire to play, and they don't play any sports. So you got to be careful. Got to be careful. And the last thing I want to say about it before we get back to Mike is the longer I coached, it took me a while because I'm not real intelligent, but the longer I coached, the more I realized that the whole reason to play sports is to learn life lessons. It's the whole reason. Why else play? You got to handle wins, you got to handle losses. You're going to have adversity on your team. You got to get along with teammates. Okay? And probably my favorite thing to coach is baseball. I can't even give it up. I'm still coaching it today down at Logan Magnolia. But and probably the biggest thing about it is that you got to learn how to fail in baseball. A good hitter in baseball is successful at the major league level 3 out of 10 times. That's a good hitter. At the high school level, we say probably 4 out of 10 times is a good hitter. Okay? So, if you can't handle failure, you can't play baseball. But what better way to learn about life than, as a coach, little Johnny strikes out and throws his bat against the fence. It used to drive me nuts. So grab little Johnny and say, "What'd you do that for?" I'm frustrated because I struck out. Well, you know what? So what? I mean, that's part of the game. Handle it. Don't throw your helmet. Don't throw your bat. Or don't play the game. Respect the game. Respect life. Learn life lessons through sports. That's the whole reason we play them. Think about any sport. I'm focusing on baseball because it's my favorite. But just think about any sport at any level. You get to professional level, it might be a little different because they get paid just a little bit of money. That's why it's so fun. I used to say it was more fun to watch college, but now the NIL is crazy. But high school, my dad always used to say, "You want to watch the best sports? Watch high school. Watch high school kids play. Watch them give it their all. That's the best sport you'll watch." And the longer I live, the more smarter he's getting.
Prayer in sports. I know or in your life, I guess. We talked about this for a long time, Mike and I did, and came up a few points, and I know he's got a few too, but you need to give yourself time alone to listen and watch what God put out there for you. See the beauty that He gave you. Sitting in a tree stand's an awesome place, right, Doug? I mean, there's so much Mother Nature, there's so much quiet time, there's nothing there but you, the squirrels, and a couple deer, okay? But it's such a great time. Just find time in your day, and I know Father preaches this a lot too. Find time in your day just to have a few moments where you can sit back and just give God a chance to maybe talk to you. I gave him time, and he gave me Mike's name to call and help me with this. So,
So he knows me?
he knows me. I guess as in sports, I thought being from a Catholic school, Mike probably didn't coach in a Catholic school as much as I did, so it's a little different in a public school, but he has an example that I thought was pretty cool. But you know, we always prayed after practices. We always prayed before games, had fathers come down and give us a little pregame blessing, and our kids really enjoyed that. They sat and they listened. I liked giving them some time, 5 minutes of their time maybe, where they could just sit and reflect about the game, and things like that. And it's just important to keep that in sports if you can. We did a lot of things extra that probably didn't need to be done, but I thought as young men they should learn how to be stewards of their parishes, and so we did the services every year. We went to Mass every year. We did things like that just to show them that it's all right. It's all right to go usher. It's all right to go lector. It's not a big deal. And you know, through the years of doing that, I'd walk out and I said, it's time to do the services of church where we lectured, served, ushered. One year we even had a singer, didn't we, Lloyd? And Zach did that for us one year. Only 1 year though, he won't do it the second year. But I think it's just important. But what I was going to say is, all the years I've done that, you'd think kids, oh, they ain't going to want to do that, but I never had any trouble. They would step up, they'd volunteer, they might argue about what job they were going to do a little bit, but they'd do it, didn't have any trouble, they stepped up and did it, and I think they were kind of proud of it. I really do. And so you know, that's just things that I did as a coach.
Okay, to elaborate on that a little bit more, prayer is a very necessary part of my life, as it is with many of you, I'm sure, and there's a lot of different ways to pray. You know, we all learn the Our Fathers, the Hail Marys, the Glory Bees, and so forth as a formal prayer. Informal prayer is a little more difficult because you have to come from the heart, and it is possible. I think the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. But like Mike said, you know, in this busy world that we live in, finding quiet time is huge. Wherever that might be for you, whether it's in your vehicle, whether it's in a special room in your house, in your car, wherever that quiet time may be, find it. Find quiet time and talk to God. Develop a relationship with Him. And, you know, conversation with my own kids, you know, the obligations that the Catholic Church has, you know, obligated to do this, obligated to do that. And I said, you know what? I heard a priest give a homily one time, and he said, you know, if you have a goal to make Jesus your friend and have a relationship with Him, there's no more obligations. You want to do it. You want to do it. So consider that. Consider that. Pay attention to where God is every day in your life. I mean, the other day I was coming home from town. I had been we got a book study group down at our parish, and there's about a dozen people. We get together and talk about the book. I'm coming home from church, from the study group, driving down the road, and I haven't seen a rooster pheasant down in our area for like 6 months. There's 2 rooster pheasants sitting in the middle of the road. You know? Where'd they come from? Who put them there? I don't know, my dad was huge into pointing out things in nature that showed us that God is present all the time, each and every single day, if you just take time to watch. Take time to listen. Take time to pray. I think it's extremely important. It's the one thing that brings me peace in this world when you listen to all the bad stuff. We got to keep praying. We got to keep strong with our faith to get us through. Because God has to be a little bit disappointed at us at this point, I feel. But just keep the faith, I guess, is my biggest lesson there.
Christ in my life. Sorry. Just because you have the date that night. I had one time when I know Christ was in my life. I hope I get through this. But everybody remembers Gene. I've told a few of you guys this story. Gene Sitzman, who passed away 10 years ago, whatever. That summer, him and I and some other friends went to Sturgis on our motorcycles. And the song Lover, 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 You Don't Love Me No More was very popular. And Gene and I just hit that off together. Every time that song got on, we were dancing and singing and hugging and lover, lover. I guess, I don't know why, but we did. And it just was just one of those songs where him and I kind of connected on it and just had a lot of fun with it. Well, a year later, to the date, to the hour, I was sitting in a semi loading corn, and to the hour, to the minute, I pulled out. I was listening to a Friday night football game. Danny Callahan was announcing the game. Galen, of course. And I started my truck, pulled out on the road. I didn't touch the radio. Nobody touched the radio. I had a sleeper in the back. Pulled out on the road, and that radio station turned to Lover, Lover, Lover and sang the whole dang song. Got done, went back to the football game. I just went, holy crap. I actually reached and looked in the sleeper, and I said, Gene, are you back there? But he was. He was there. 100%. Why else would that happen? It was crazy. To me, it was just like, okay, I get it, you know? And ever since then, it was quite a moment in my life. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys, that he's there, he's watching.
I forgot one thing in relationship to prayer that I was going to share with you. Sometimes we have to stick up for our faith. I taught at a public school, taught a lot of great kids, enjoyed my experience a lot. But, you know, didn't have all the things that a Catholic school has that I missed. But one day I was coaching the girls' basketball team. Had some great kids. And I got called into the, let's just say, the administrator's office. Please shut the door. So I shut the door. Have a seat. Okay, I sat down. So what's this about? Well, I understand that you're praying with your team. Is that true? I said, yeah, it is. He says, well, you're not supposed to be doing that. I said, really? I said, I'm not leading the prayer. My players are leading the prayer. I'm participating in the prayer. He says, well, you're really not supposed to be doing that. And I said, okay, fine. I stood up and I walked over to his desk and I said, if I can't pray with my team, get a new coach. I'll have my resignation on your desk tomorrow. And he backed off like no other. So sometimes you have to stand up. Stand up for your faith because it's the right thing to do. So I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but it opened my eyes in a hurry. The experience that I had with Christ in my life, just maybe a couple things here to share. My brother, Father Pat, passed away, and he left a gift for the siblings. He left us a trip to Ireland. So last summer, Cindy and I were, actually before last summer, Cindy and I were invited by Dan and Teresa McCarty and their family to join them in Ireland. We said, Dan asked me and I hung up the phone. I said, oh, I'll let you know. And I proposed it to Cindy and she said, call him back right away. So I did. So we're in. So anyway, long story short, we went to Ireland and spent a wonderful 5 days with the McCarty family. And, you know, obviously that's where my ancestors came from. And what a beautiful place. After spending 5 days with them, everybody kind of went their different direction. Cindy and I have had some of the most fun times in our life just spontaneously doing things, you know. Let's do this on a whim, let's do that on a whim. So we decided, against Jody's suggestion, because Jody and Gina have been there too, you make sure you get reservations, you know, things are busy over there. We rented a car. We had 0 reservations. So, after the 5 days with the McCartys, we hopped in the car and she said, where are we going to go? She loves the water, so we stayed near the water on the west side and just kind of cruised up and down the peninsulas. Every morning, we would pray the rosary, that we would have safe travel, and that we would find lodging, or that we might comfortably sleep in the car. And it was a small car. But anyway, every single night we found lodging. Cindy wanted to stay in a castle. Reservations are required, what, maybe 6-8 months ahead? Yeah. It's pouring down rain. We're going through this town in Ireland. I take a turn, I'm going the wrong way down a one-way street. I whip it around, take the first turn I can get off, go left, we go down the street about a block, and it's a sign for a castle. So he says, pull in there. I said, why? Jody said there's not going to be any. I got to make a reservation. Pulled in, I said, I'm sitting in the car. She said, I'll run in. 5 minutes later, she goes back out, knocks on the window. We got the last room. So that was unbelievable. The Lord was obviously with us. And then another instance, we stopped at Our Lady of Knock, there was an apparition in Knock, Ireland, 1879, I believe it was. And our Blessed Mother appeared to, I don't know, 12 or so people there. And so they've got this shrine set up where she appeared and so forth. So we got into town. We wanted to see this. We got into town in the evening and went to the church and saw the aberration spot and so forth. And said, you know, it's kind of getting dark. We better try and find a place to stay here. And we drove back to the main road, took a left, and it said St. Martha's Bed and Breakfast. Pulled in, they had one room left. One room left. Start talking to the couple, and of course they wanted to know, what's this Donald Trump about? You really want to get into that? Come to find out that the wife of this guy's, her distant relative was the main lady from the apparition. So now it's almost dark, and her husband says, you want to hop in the car? We'll go down to the cemetery. I'll show you where she's buried. So here we are, wandering through an Irish cemetery at dark, looking at the grave of someone who was in the apparition. But and then the rest of the trip just ran into wonderful people. Just had a tremendous experience. But you know, God was with us. Obviously, that stuff doesn't just happen. You know, and what a wonderful experience. Another one I'll share, kind of a short one. My wife would probably be embarrassed if I said this, but you guys won't tell her who he is. She's got a brace, or like a, what do you call those?
Partial.
Partial. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis. I knew that came for a reason. So anyway, she misplaced her partial. It's at night, I'm tired, she's tired, we want to go to bed, let's find the partial. So we searched the bedroom. Looked everywhere, in the bed, under the bed, around everywhere. Said, hey, let's find it in the morning. She agrees. Next morning, she wakes up and says, oh my God, I thought I'd done something wrong. She says, look, in her hand was her partial. Tell me that's not God. Now, Mike and I both talked about this. Does anybody else have stories that they would like to share?
Any experiences
Not
that,
trying to embarrass anybody, but
if you're willing to say something, that now's your time.
there's some things that just hit you in the face and it's like real. If not, that's okay.
It's,
Rob, did you? I thought I saw his hand up, my gosh.
It was his head.
he's by his sister right now, that's a.
Maybe Melissa likes it.
Yeah, Melissa does.
So that's okay.
That's fine. I guess we're to our last one already, holy cow.
Yep.
In conclusion, we can only imagine. I'm going to read this because I want to read it, okay? Otherwise I'll miss half of it. Oh.
Always got to watch out for it.
We as Christians are striving forward in our journey to meet our Lord. I can only imagine. Mike and I, as coaches, hopefully through our coaching for Christ, have had a chance to influence our players only to imagine that there is a God out there that they can play for. Is there any questions that maybe you don't want to ask a coach? We don't care. Is there any questions that you'd like to throw at either one of us about maybe a coaching situation or anything like that? We're more than willing to try to answer your question.
I'd just like to throw this out there. If there's, I ran into several instances like this with athletes saying, I don't know if I want to play. My friends are playing another sport, I'm going to go off of that other sport, or, all my classmates decided they don't want to play, whatever. I used to pull those kids aside and I used to say, okay, are you sure you're making the right decision? Are you making this decision for yourself, or are you following the group? Are you going to be able to live with the decision that you make down the road? And if you are, fine, I support you. If you don't want to play, I get it. Because it's not for everybody. You got to sacrifice to play sports. But I did that with one lady one time. Not one lady, she's a lady now. A player one time, her class completely stopped playing because the class below them was better. You've all seen this. They were better, and so, I should play because I'm a senior and they're juniors, and they're better. We want to win. And that's not the only thing we want to do, but, you want to keep coaching, sometimes you have to win a little bit. But she wrote me a letter that just floored me. Her sister was a tremendous athlete. She was not. But she was a great team player. And she decided she'd play against what all the other kids had done in her class and all the decisions they'd made. She wrote me the nicest letter to say, that conversation you had with me, I think about that all the time in my life. And again, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I think as coaches you have so many opportunities to touch young lives and you don't even realize you're doing it. And you as parents the same way. You talk about tough love. I get my butt beat once in a while at home. Deserved it. Didn't understand a lot of things at the time. Deserved it. Down the road you figure it out. You say thank you. And that's exactly what this young lady was doing. It's just like the payback you get from being a coach and a teacher is unbelievable. And I just thank God every day that I was able to do it. And I thank you for having me tonight. I really, really enjoyed seeing a lot of you people, and I don't know, I hope I didn't babble too much. But really enjoyed it. Thanks for asking.
Michael Hayes, how do you keep